Hey, what's going on, everybody? These are 5 books here I've picked out as my top 5 finance books for 2021. I'm going to explain why you should read each one of these, and I'll do that in this video. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Joshua. I built and sold a technology company, and now I like to talk about personal finance, investing, all the things I've learned and the things I'm still learning, and I do that right on this channel. So let's talk about these books. Let's start with this. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Now, my dog decided to eat the cover here, but I don't know how long ago I got this book, maybe 8 years ago. It was the first finance book I had ever read. And the reason I even bought it was 2 things. The cover, I think it kind of popped, and then I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Back then, no one had ever claimed to be able to do that. Now you get ads of every guru on the internet, and that's their sales pitch. Why this book is so great is he really breaks down a broad range of concepts in a way that was going to resonate with someone younger. And everything from budgeting, debt, negotiating your bills, negotiating a raise, and then investing, of course. This is where it all started for me. And so, he talks about this idea of a rich life. And this is where he and Dave Ramsey really kind of veer off. Dave has a one-size-fit-all kind of plan, and Ramit's like, no, if you want to buy expensive coffee, then do that. If it brings you happiness, you need to use money as a means to have a life that you view as rich. And that's going to be different for everybody. I actually bought this book for a family friend who just graduated high school, and I said, please read this book, study the principles. You're going to be a multi-millionaire when you grow up. Next up is The Millionaire Next Door. This book is really cool. So it's a little outdated, I think. It's from the 90s, and anything like pre-internet kind of freaks me out a little bit. So I always want to make sure, is the content still relevant? And yeah, sure enough, what they did is they studied all these millionaires and tried to analyze their behavior, their lifestyle, and the findings were really remarkable. You would think of a millionaire as someone with, a big flashy luxury car and a big house. And this book shows with data that's not typically the case. A lot of millionaires actually look like plumbers and teachers and people that you would never suspect to be wealthy. And they got that way through living below their means, investing, maybe having a business. And it's really fascinating to read. And the one cool thing they do in this book is they give you this equation of what your net worth should be. Take your pre-tax income, multiply it by your age, and divide by 10. So for example, if someone makes $50,000 a year and they're 30 years old, that would be 1.5 million. Divided by 10 is 150,000, and that should be that person's net worth. So if you're there, if you're 30, you make 50K a year, and you've got a net worth of 150,000, then you're pretty much where you should be. And if you're double that, they call this a prodigious accumulator of wealth. So if you were 30 with a $50,000 salary and you were worth 300K, now not counting inheritance or anything like that, just your net worth you've built, then you would be considered wealthy, an accumulator of wealth. And that's something to strive for. Okay, next up, this is called The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. This is written by a man named John Bogle. Some people call him Jack Bogle. He's the founder of Vanguard. He basically makes the case of investing in low-cost index funds. Bogle breaks down historical data that shows it's very unlikely that these fund managers can beat the market with any type of long-term consistency. There's a concept called reversion to the mean. And what that basically means, yeah, maybe they can crush it for some period of time, but eventually they're going to revert back down to the average. It says money flows into funds after good performance and flows out when bad follows. And this is kind of something you're seeing with the ARK-K ETF. This is like this innovation fund from Kathy Wood, and it just had ridiculous several 100% returns, and then it most recently started to just nosedive. But obviously, as she had this incredible run-up, incredible success, billions of dollars poured in. Everyone's chasing these returns. And that's not sustainable, historically speaking, in almost all cases. It's a great book. It makes the case for some of the investing style that I have, primarily index ETFs, and I have a little money for fun, but that's about it. Okay, book number 4, The Compound Effect. So I won't go, too in detail with this. You've seen probably that, example of doubling a penny every day for a month, and it turns into millions of dollars. The magic of compound interest will let your investment just exponentially grow. It talks about that in terms of finance. It also talks about that in terms of just life. This idea can be applied to losing weight. It can be applied to other efforts that you have. And as long as you're making some incremental progress and have a nice time horizon, you're going to see, ideally, a big impact on the other side of that. And so, check this book out. It's a pretty quick and easy read, and it was helpful to just hear that same message again. Okay, last up, The Psychology of Money. Let me look. I think this is a fairly new book. Yeah, copyright 2020, first published. So just about a year old as I'm filming this. And this is from Morgan Housel. He was a columnist for Wall Street Journal, and he also wrote for Motley Fool. And this book is incredible because it uses a lot of stories to break down very complex financial ideas. I actually own the physical book and the audio book. I kind of do that from time to time. I liked the audio book because it felt like storytelling. I could listen to it and I could just visualize some of the concepts he was laying out. There's a story about Bill Gates, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the odds of him being in this high school that happened to have a computer back when he was there, I told it to my dad the other night, and I got goosebumps just reading that part of the book. So some really awesome stories. So yeah, that's it. Let's recap here. I Will Teach You to Be Rich, The Millionaire Next Door, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing, love that one. Compound Effect, yes. The Psychology of Money. Those are my top 5. If you thought this was helpful, by the way, I can do a deeper dive into the principles and concepts of each one in subsequent videos. Let me know in the comments, and I appreciate you watching, hanging out with me, and hopefully these videos are helpful on your financial journey to financial freedom. Cool. We'll be back soon. Take care.